Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Midday News. The news is live on Joy 99.7 FM in Accra. We're also live on Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi and over 30 affiliates across Ghana's 16 regions, including Sky FM in Sunyani, Laura FM in Laura, A1 Radio in Bolgatanga, Kakeli Radio in Ho, and Victory FM in Aflao. You can also listen live on your Spotify and myjoyonline.com apps. In this edition, President Akufo-Addo directs Ghana Airports Company Board to sack its managing director, Yao Kwakwa. We hear from Mr. Kwakwa, who says he has no knowledge of his sacking.
So, if you have a fresh please give it.
We're live at the Kotoka International Airport for reactions. Director of Public Prosecution urges High Court to issue warrant for arrest of a Sin North MP, James Jachikwesing. We have details of that, and we are right on the path and won't be distracted. That's according to Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, who's been responding to critics of the government over its management of the economy.
My major goal is to make sure that whatever we can do to move this country and to build this country and to build a new economy, that is what we are going to do.
And later on, our Drive Safe campaign, slight progress in campaign to keep our roads safe as a number of crashes and deaths decline in the month of January. We hear from the National Road Safety Authority in sports.
The Ghana Football Association has sent a message to the National Sports Authority indicating that Ghana's World Cup qualifier will take place at the Cape Coast Sports Stadium despite the insistence of the NSA.
We have that and more in this edition of the Midday News with me, Emefa Apau. Many thanks for choosing us. We are your home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. Thanks for joining us. We settle for the details now. In our very first story, President Akufo-Addo has directed the Ghana Airports Company Board to sack the managing director, Yao Kwakwa. In a letter dated February 4, 2022, to the company's board chair, Transport Minister Kweku Ofori-Esiama said per a letter dated on January 31, 2022, the president has directed the sacking of Mr. Kwakwa. Now, this is coming on the day the Transport Committee has been visiting the airport as part of its investigations into a recent dispute with private jet operators Magdan Aviation. The company recently launched its operations but was ordered to shut down after the company said Magdan did not follow due procedure. Reactions from Mr. Kwakwa on the developing story for you shortly, but first, Raymond Akwa of our research desk joins us in studio with more on this. Raymond, first, what are exactly the details of this letter?
Now, we do know that prior to coming into office, Mr. Kwakwa actually had to go through the replacement by MD, who was then the man who was named as John Atefua. Before the conversation started on this one, we were also told that Mr. Kwakwa had problems with the management of the place, which is specifically workers who are demanded that he pays their SNIT and welfare contributions for 13 months. There are also complaints about delay in payment of salaries, which happened after the main complaints about SNIT and welfare contributions. Then the airport company came under scrutiny after the controversy of the procurement of some Christmas trees and other things getting to the end of the year. Now, the workers' union then renewed their calls for his removal from office. Just when the dust was settling on this matter, or the back and forth over this matter, the Magdan issue came up, and over the use of that Terminal 1, which brought fresh focus on demand. And the interesting part was that this was perhaps the first time after he suspended the Magdan Aviation's operations, this was the first time the workers had agreed with him and issued a statement actually saying that that was a step in the right direction. That is the coming into being of this letter, putting into focus the very event that happened since he took over from John Atefua as what they call the MD of Ghana Airports.
Okay, well, so that's the background information per our research desk information on leading to the sacking of Mr. Kwakwa. But this particular letter that we are seeing today, signed by the Transport Minister Kweku Ofori-Esiama, does it give any particular reasons why the board is being directed to sack Mr. Kwakwa?
No, there's no specific reason stated in there. It just tells us that the direction has been given from the presidency and the minister is communicating to him through the board chair that that's the action that ought to be taken.
Interesting. But we'll be hearing from Mr. Kwakwa shortly. I've been telling you that this is happening on the day that the Transport Committee in Parliament has been visiting the airport for further investigations into this particular impasse between the airport, the Ghana Airport Company Limited, and McDan Aviation. My colleague Kwesi Parker-Wilson is with the team at the Kotoka International Airport. He joins us on the line. Kwesi, what's been the reaction generally to this particular development regarding the sacking of Mr. Yao Kwakwa?
What largely is being surprises on the faces of management of Ghana Airport Company Limited, including the Deputy Minister, Hassan Tampoli, who was present today at the tour of the facility. Now, I asked him a very direct question whether he cited the letter, the dismissal letter of Mr. Kwakwa. Well, he did not confirm nor deny, but he looked quite shocked. Other staff around there were also shocked, including some members of the committee. But Mr. Kwakwa himself was also very surprised that at the time he had led a team or the committee on roads and transport to inspect the McDan Aviation facility, he's been sacked. So he told us that he has no knowledge of a dismissal.
Mr. Kwakwa, you have been conducting us round. You've told us that yes, you've been very satisfied with the work that McDan has done, at least physical structures wise, and then the installation of things. We're just getting to know that your appointment as managing director has been terminated by the Minister of Transport. Your reaction to this? Does this come to your attention, first of all?
I don't know what you're talking about. My appointment has not been terminated, so if you have Fresh Today, please
Will you be surprised if that's the case, though?
I don't know about it. So when I get to that bridge, I'll cross it.
Well, so that's the interaction of Mr. Yao Kwakwa. That's the interaction between him and Parliamentary Press Corps, including my colleague Kwesi Parker-Wilson. So, Kwesi, what you're saying is that he came to work today with no knowledge of this particular letter directing the board to sack him.
Indeed. In fact, he was wearing what you call the kaftan, a white one, up and down, very busy, working, leading the Transport and Roads Committee right from the departure lounge of McDan Aviation through the arrival, taking us through the immigration checkpoint, what they need to do and what they haven't done. And so he was very much surprised that a Wednesday morning like this, that he's come to work, indeed has an arrangement with the Roads Committee and working. He's been asked to leave his job. That was quite surprising for him. But he said that when he returned to the office, he would ascertain for himself, even though we have confirmed that indeed he has been dismissed. He says he wants to confirm that when he gets to his office.
Well, at least he sounded very surprised. But from your checks after this tour with the Transport Committee, has he gone to find out what exactly are you picking regarding the information on this?
Well, so we wanted to track him when he left us into his office, but the airport security prevented us from getting close to him. So we do not have any information about whether he's been able to confirm that indeed he's been dismissed and that he'll be leaving his office very soon or not. But what I can confirm to you is that right after the meeting, he rushed into his office to indeed ascertain the questions that we were asking as to whether he's been directed by the President of Akufo-Addo to leave his office.
Well, let's talk about the mission for which reason you are the Kotoka International Airport, which is the committee looking into that dispute between the Ghana Airport Company Limited and McDan. What has transpired so far? What did the committee find?
For today we are learning that McDan is now cooperating with the Ghana Airport Company Limited. The committee on its familiarization tour have the appreciation that if you come to the physical infrastructure or the installation at McDan Aviation, he met every requirement. And so the only thing left is about safety protocols, including some signages that he mounted right in front of his office, where the airport company had concerns about that. In the night, probably it might have some reflections and might pose a danger to motorists or drivers using the main airport road. And so these are things that they say they will discuss. But however, everything about the physical installation is now complete. McDan has satisfied the requirement. And the private jet, you recall that the license expired. We are told that the license has been renewed for another 90 days. So McDan now has the opportunity or has been given the green light to operate his private jet, but yet to require the license for the commercial use.
Do we know how soon he's supposed to resume operations?
The soon is largely dependent on the Civil Aviation Authority. And I must say that the ranking member on the roads committee, Kwame Abuja, raised concerns about the timelines. In fact, Mr. Kwaka told us that right now, from where they've gotten to, they are 99% complete, and that Magdan Aviation will resume operations soon. So Kwame Abuja wanted to know what is soon in terms of soon, and his reaction was that that one would depend on the Civil Aviation Authority. When they are done with their own final checklist and they approve him to begin operations, the Civil Aviation Authority would now have to give them the final green light to operate. And they don't want to more like circumvent the process or probably set timelines for the civil aviation.
Who are witnesses for your own self. I think after going around and hearing from the MD, it is clear that in terms of the facilities here, the company, Ghana Airport Company, is satisfied with whatever work that they have done. I think the outstanding issues are purely safety protocols issue, which they have even initiated the process in resolving that matter. So there is not any serious matter that will be dealt with. I think the key, the biggest of it all is Magdan Company sitting down with Ghana Airport Company to do a negotiation as to the fee that they will be charging them for operating this place. I think that is what is outstanding. I don't think this is a big deal, and we are giving them the benefit of the doubt. I'm sure they should be able to, I believe they should be able to resolve this matter amicably as soon as possible so that they can give them the go-ahead.
So that's the chairman of the Transport Committee in Parliament, Mr. Prince Nyako, there interacting with the media after that tour of the Kotoka International Airport. Now let's head to the court where state prosecutors today urged an Accra High Court to issue a warrant for the arrest of Asin North MP James Chachikwesin. Director of Public Prosecution Yvonne Atakra Obuobisa told the court multiple efforts to serve the MP with court processes both at his residence in Accra and his constituency had proved futile. The legislator is facing charges including forgery and perjury. Now, this case is one of 4 cases in which the MP has failed to show up in court. Court correspondent Joseph Akable sat through proceedings today. He joins us with more. Joseph, so was the warrant issued for the arrest of the MP?
Not at all. Rather, a criminal summons have been issued. This is to be posted at the residence of the MP here in Accra, and he will be deemed to have been served once it's posted. The Director of Public Prosecution had opted for a warrant because she explains that officials had gone over to the MP's residence here in Accra in the constituency as well, and they had been unable to locate him to give him those documents. Those that they met at the place too kept saying that the MP was not around and they could not tell when exactly he'll be coming back. But the court took the view that rather criminal summons should be issued because he can be deemed to have not been aware of the hearing notice that was issued. But with this particular process that has been undertaken, once it's posted, he will be deemed to have been served and he will have to show up.
So then, what happens next?
We are back in court on March 15, and the expectation is that the MP will show up according to the prosecutors and our sources within the AG's department. Should he fail to show up, they will exercise the option of asking for a warrant to be issued again. Richard Mensah, who is the complainant in this particular matter, is simply frustrated and he wants the MP to show up and face the law.
The judge took a decision as to why he was not going to issue a bench warrant, and he registered that if he had issued a bench warrant, then that would have meant that he was aware of the credit or he was receiving the check. So on that basis,
apologies for that poor quality in sound there, but I'll stay a while longer in court. Joseph, we know that a private citizen, Kwabno Fori, has also filed a case at the Supreme Court asking that it sets aside a ruling of a Winneba High Court that ordered the reinstatement of Professor Malto Avoke as Vice Chancellor. Tell us more.
And so this case was actually filed at the Supreme Court, and the point that he's making is that as far as he's concerned, the processes that were used by lawyers for Professor Avoke were contrary to law. And so it's asking the Supreme Court to use its powers to set aside judgments of lower courts that violate the Constitution and are contrary to law. And so that is the key relief that he's seeking from the court. And so he makes the point that that decision that permitted Professor Avoke to be installed by the Governing Council cannot be allowed to stand, and he's asking that it should be set aside.
That's court correspondent Joseph Akable there, bringing us details of this latest case also that has been filed at the Supreme Court. It's time for our Drive Safe campaign.
Safe driving saves lives. Drive safe.
And this afternoon, a total of 136,440 cedis from court fines have been accumulated for road offences for January this year alone. This is about 80,000 more than the amount paid within the same period last year. Driving without license, using expired documents, and other infractions top the list of offences. The head of our research desk, Raymond Akwa, joins me back again with more on the latest data from the MTTD. Raymond, first run us through the regions with the highest number of road traffic offences in the report.
So, in all, there were 230 road traffic offences for January alone. Accra topped the list with 61 cases, which resulted in the 49,000 cedis that they were fined, with Ashanti region coming up number 2 with 34,047 cases. Bunu East was number 3. That's when it comes to the number. But when it comes to the amount of money retrieved from fines in there, it was Western Region, which is number 4, that came number 3, with the amount of money that was retrieved from them. That's 12,000 for Western Region 2. In fact, Western Region has more than 3 times the amount of money that Bono East had to pay within that same period. Now, Bono itself is number 6. Interestingly, 10 regions out of the 18 police regions, 10 of them had no incident and no fine pay within the period. And that's all that there is to the national picture.
Okay, so what does the data then say about the number of accidents and related casualties for the same period?
So watch it this way: whilst the number of incidents have increased, and the amount of money we have retrieved from fines have also increased, same cannot be said of the number of accidents and also casualties involved within the same period. When it comes to the casualties, it actually went down. The number is lower than what we saw in the period. Now, let's look finally at the number of people who died within the period. We are talking about 232 for this year alone. But that is lower than the number of people who died over the period last year. That's 4% lower than the number of people who died compared to that same. When it comes to the actual number of people who were involved in the accidents, the number also decreased. In fact, all of the statistics for January 2021, the January 2022 picture was far better than that of January 2021.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for bringing us those details on our Drive Safe campaign. You ought to continue to stay safe on our roads. Let's turn our attention to the economy now. And Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has spoken strongly about the Ghanaian economy, outlining some key policy interventions the administration has rolled out to build a resilient economy that will stand the test of time. The country's economy has become the center of discussion both on the local and international front, following a downgrade to C small AA1 by credit rating agency Moody's. But addressing participants at this year's Ghana Youth Congress, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia encouraged the Ghanaian people to be hopeful of overcoming the country's current economic situation.
My major goal is to make sure that whatever we can do to move this country and to build this country and to build a new economy, that is what we are going to do. Don't have a mindset that says it hasn't been done elsewhere. It hasn't been done in the advanced nations, so we cannot do it in Ghana. So you see that since we've been in office, we have been deliberately trying to put in place many systems that Ghana did not have or does not have, that we haven't had since independence. And the absence of these systems have held our country back.
Well, the Finance Ministry has also been defending its continuous relationship with some international agencies, despite recent poor ratings, which has got the ministry furious. Director, Financial Sector Division at the Finance Ministry, Samson Akligo, has been speaking on PM Express.
So the rating agency comes to you and go through their process. And in fact, behind that process is a lot of analytical work. And this analytical work comes with a lot of assumptions. They have their models, they have the things that they look at. You can't ask the rating agencies to do it because they are independent. So, and I think it's important for that process to continue. The option that is available to the country is that you appeal. But if you feel strongly that you have some sentiment to express about the rating, just like in every country, you also...
So that's Samson Akligo there. He's the Director, Financial Sector Division at the Finance Ministry. Well, the governing NPP today also been addressing issues regarding government's handling of the economy. Blessed Sugan has just returned from that press conference. What exactly were the issues?
The New Patriotic Party says it takes notes of the concerns that Ghanaians are raising with regard to the economic challenges. They claim that looking at the reports that they have, including that of the World Economic Outlook report released in 2022, that's January, they believe that the challenges we are facing is not peculiar to Ghana and that there are other countries that are finding themselves within the same situation as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. The Director of Communications for the party says that the party will continue to roll out stringent measures that will recover Ghana's economy and put it on the right track. So we can listen to Yao Boabing Asamoah.
In the face of these unexpected economic challenges of COVID-19, the NPP remains focused on supporting the economy back onto a sound footing. It is in the above context, therefore, that the Nana Akufo-Addo-led government proposes a homegrown opportunity to rebuild the nation's pockets. That is the e-levy, a tax based on our sense of community and contribution. An opportunity to generate revenue that may be scarce and expensive on international markets. Unfortunately, the e-levy has become part of the hot quagmire that is our hang parliament. Actions in parliament show clearly that the NDC intends to exploit its numbers to the full in pursuit of political gain, never mind any danger to nationalist ideals. From a contentious election of a speaker to the passage of government's revenue policies, Parliament continues to see fierce engagement from both sides of the House. But at least we believe that we have risen above it all. The important thing is that the international community has noticed. Civil society is participating. That notice from the international community about the e-levy and otherwise, and the loud, raucous noises, is what has led Fitch, Moody's, Standard & Poor to give mixed reviews to Ghana in their latest round of assessments. We, the NPP, find former President Mohammed's outburst that the e-levy is, and I'm quoting him, neither adequate nor viable. It seems a bit myopic to say at this stage that the e-levy is neither adequate nor viable. Seems rather myopic.
That's the Director of Communications of the NPP, Yao Boabing Asamoah. This is the Midday News. We're on Joy 99.7 FM here in Accra. In Kumasi, we're on Love 99.5 FM and over 30 affiliates across Ghana's 16 regions. We're on Laura FM in Laura, A1 Radio in Bolga, Tanga, Sky FM in Sunyai, and Victory FM in Aplao. We're also live on myjoyonline.com and also on Spotify, live on Facebook as well. At Top Stories, President Akufo-Addo directs Ghana Airports Company Board to sack its Managing Director, Yao Kwakwa. We've been hearing from him, who has expressed surprise about this latest development. When we return, we have sports and more. Please stay with us.
Hey, Evokoku, what brings you to my house this early morning? I hope all is well.
All is never well with me, Nick Bakbo. After paying 3 times for the land for my project, the construction workers are now giving me wahala. From material overestimation to small stealing. I am tired.
I told you so, Evokoku.
It's all because you are trying to become builders when you're corporate workers and business people. Edlum has products tailored to meet your needs. Villas 3 at Amrahia, where there are finished homes, Conveniente, also at Amrahia, where it's contemporary but super affordable apartments. Prices start from $35,000. And the Avant-Garde, located in Adjurigano, which has sleek luxury apartments. For more information, please visit edlumhousing.com or simply call 0270-166-166. Edlum Housing, where spacious homes cost less.
Thanks for choosing us as the Midday News on Joy 99.7 FM. It's time for sports. What do we have?
The Ghana Football Association has confirmed that the clash between the Black Stars and Super Eagles of Nigeria will take place at the Cape Coast Sports Stadium, despite the government's plans to hold Independence Day ceremony at the venue. The first leg of the crucial tie is slated for Thursday, March 24, while the second leg will take place 3 days later. The FA Communication Director says that it was irreversible for them to change any venue apart from the Cape Coast Sports Stadium.
We'll play in Cape Coast. We have already communicated to CAF. There are regulations that govern football. You need to follow those regulations judiciously. 90 days to every game, you need to confirm your venue. Unfortunately, at the time CAF wanted us to confirm the venue, government had not informed us that they would use the Cape Coast Stadium for the 6th March independence celebration. So Kumasi never came up because at that time, we did not even submit Kumasi during the main World Cup qualifiers. So if it is that government had engaged us at the time, or the NSA had engaged us at the time, we could have communicated to CAF to then send people to come and inspect the Kumasi Sports Stadium. I'm sure if we had done that in November, all this wouldn't have come up. Once we have communicated to CAF that we are playing at Cape Coast, it is non-negotiable.
It is non-negotiable. That is according to the Ghana Football Association.
Thank you very much, Muftal. Let me take you to the Ashanti Regional Capital, Kumasi, where an old building housing children of the State Experimental Basic School is in danger of collapsing as 3 of its pillars have started falling apart. Love FM's Erastus Asari-Donko reports.
State Experimental Basic School, established in the 1950s, now has a population of over 1,000 students. This 2-story building, built at the inception of the school, has developed defects. A cursory look reveals an imminent danger of collapse. 3 of the main supporting pillars are falling apart, revealing the metal skeleton parts. The teachers are worried.
The building has been there for a long time and no renovation has been done on it. So the concrete is removing by itself. So we're even afraid.
Glaring cracks and almost loose concrete openings are seen in other parts of the building, indicating a weakened structure. Inside the classrooms, the deputy head of Basic 1 section of the State Experimental School, George Amwa, shows me cracks in the concrete ceiling.
Looking at this place, normally we do cleaning once every month where children mop their classrooms. So in the case of doing it, you see that the water will be soaking down to this classroom. From the look of things, there's a danger. We've not seen it yet, but a time is coming. If measures are not taken, it's going to be a problem.
That's Erastus Asari-Donko's report. Now, the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Godfrey Yeboah-Dame, has been called on to ensure all cases of brutality against journalists, including even death, receive same speed with which a journalist of Power FM was arraigned and jailed for making claims against the president and judges. We know that Ohineba Buama with Radio XYZ is serving a 14-day jail term at the Insalon prisons for contempt. He's also being fined 3,000 cedis. We can hear from Ken Ashibe.
I think for me that is what is disheartening, that when a journalist is at fault, we see the speed at which, the cases are dealt with. But when we have situations in which, we have had a journalist lose his life in the course of doing his job, Ahmed Swali, even the investigation itself has not been completed. We have the situation in which Latif was beating up his skull broken at the police headquarters, a security place, which I'm sure has a lot of CCTV cameras. And nothing, that investigation is still going nowhere. From Accra or wherever they drove to, we have CCTV cameras that are now dotted on all our routes and nobody has been arrested. Then you have the situation in which Pius Kweni was shot, on the night of elections. And this gentleman, has undergone multiple surgeries.
That's Dr. Ken Ashibe there, raising concerns about brutalities against journalists. Now, yesterday, we brought you a story from the Public Accounts Committee where the chairman of the committee raised concerns about the absence of the health minister, even though he had been informed to appear before the committee. Well, today, the health minister has been responding.
Look at accounts. Let me be very honest with you. I think you were there yesterday. That's why you asked this question. Just a little bit of education. Public Accounts Committee sits to consider Auditor General's reports. Period. That is its function in Parliament. So if the Auditor General has not submitted any reports on COVID expenditures, I can't go to Public Accounts Committee and say that I'm going to brief you on COVID expenditures until I'm invited. From time to time when COVID came, I was going to Parliament, the plenary, to brief my colleagues on how far we were fighting the battle. Okay? So at the appropriate time, now that our Auditor General started doing auditing, especially within the World Bank group, when adverse reports come, or reports come and Public Accounts Committee call us, you go there.
That's the Health Minister, Kweku Agyemang-Manu, calling the bluff of the Public Accounts Committee. Will bring you more subsequently. But just before we go, my colleague Papani Ashale is on the ground for our Clean Ghana campaign. Papani, where did it take you today? Hello, Papani.
Yeah, hello, Eva.
Where are we today with our Clean Ghana campaign?
Yeah, so we're currently at Bukom Square, and the officials of the AMA and the health directors here are here serving someone and notices to many people here, especially those who are living by the drains. The drains are very small, but yet inundated with waste here. Many of them being economic waste, some of them have been taken over the street. So from last I checked, about 24 people have been issued notices to evacuate 6 businesses off the street. Some others have been asked to clean the drains immediately. So it's a heated situation here.
So that's our Clean Ghana campaign ending today's edition of the Midday News. There's more subsequently also on my Joy99.com. Stories making the headlines. Ghana Airports Company MD Yao Kwakwa sacked. Also, alleged 5 million bribe scandal. Kwesi Afrifa to face General Legal Counsel on February 16. And using kerosene and unapproved feminine products in vagina cause cancer. Public health specialist. That and more on my Joy99.com. I am MFA Apau. Many thanks for your company. Living Word with Pastor Mensel is up next. Please stay.
Business a bit news to say. So the projections from the first quarter show a higher total gross profit for the fiscal year.